Imagine this, you're a guardian in the Cosmodrome, going about your regular everyday activities, but then all of a sudden, your ghost alerts you to a sudden wormhole that's in a hidden area of a lost sector. It's one that you've been to before, but this is something that's completely different. You fight your way past the waves of Hive and Fallen, and ultimately reach the portal. Your guardian is then compelled by an unimaginable desire to step forward, and with great hesitation from your ghost, you step through anyway. Suddenly, you're in a familiar world that's currently known as modern-day Tokyo, circa 2018. Fortunately for you and your ghost, it's nighttime, so the bright lights of the bustling city captivate you, and the only thing that you can think to compare this to is Niamuna, only this place doesn't have a bunch of cabal running around. But then that's when the madness starts. Apparitions start to fade in and out of your sight, and you start to lose a connection to the traveler as the wormhole closes. The only thing is that you still have your light-based abilities, and your ghost seems just fine. You're both very confused by this predicament, and you both wonder how all of this is even possible. Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys enjoyed the intro that I did. I tried to set the scenario as best I could, just to give you an idea of what I'm thinking of. Now look, this isn't going to be a versus battle of any kind because me and Nothing Important here already did a video on that. However, this particular video was inspired by something that I pointed out in that video, and it's if the Guardian being in the JJK universe would even have things like cursed energy or a domain expansion. So this video will serve to kind of further explore that idea and to see if the Guardian would truly be one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the verse, above the likes of Sukuna or Satoru Gojo. So first things first, what is JJK or Jujutsu Kaisen? For those of you who don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen is a manga/anime series that has been going on since 2017, and it's a wildly popular anime that's currently in its second season. The main power system of JJK is cursed energy, and all cursed energy is a product of negative emotions made by humanity. But these people called sorcerers, or those who are trained in the ways of manipulating cursed energy through jujutsu, will oftentimes use cursed energy to battle or exercise things called cursed spirits, which are pretty much just creatures born from negative emotions made by humanity. There are a whole bunch of other nuances to JJK, but I'm not going to get into all of them in this video, just the relevant stuff. So before we even answer or even look at the domain expansion of a guardian, we first have to know what the technique of our guardian would even be. When trying to make this video, I thought about this question a lot, and so I think it would be pretty fair to start with the ghost and say that this ghost will be the conduit from which we draw our cursed energy. Now for the JJK fans that don't really know anything about Destiny, a guardian is pretty much a protector of humanity, and they can wield light or dark based abilities. These light based abilities come from the traveler, and the traveler made our ghosts, which can resurrect us if need be or heal us, and they also allow us to use our abilities such as solar, void, and arc. Now usually the ghost can really do this an infinite amount of times, so long as their light isn't limited by external factors, or as long as they're not dead. This is because if the traveler is alive or unaffected, then they virtually have an infinite pool of light to draw from and give us our powers. Now for obvious reasons, I had to kind of seal off the traveler in this video, because having infinite cursed energy would pretty much just make us unstoppable in the verse. So for the video's purposes, our cursed energy is going to lie within our ghost. Now for those who don't know what a cursed technique even is, you can think of a cursed technique like a household appliance that you plug into a wall. A cursed technique can't be used unless you have cursed energy. So in this example, you can't really use a vacuum cleaner unless you plug it into a wall. So with that being said, what's the Guardian's cursed technique? I think it should be called something like Light Bearer, since that's one of the names that were given in game, but I will add one caveat. We can only use our light based abilities during the daytime, things like solar, arc, and void, but come nighttime, we can only use our darkness based abilities, so these are things like strand and stasis. And I'm going to be ignoring the paracausal aspect of things, at least until we get to the domain expansion, which in this universe it would make more sense anyways, and I'll explain why in a little bit. I feel like on its own, even without the domain expansion, this curse technique is pretty strong, because it not only gives you 5 offensive abilities to use, but they also have a lot of useful applications too, especially with strand and stasis. With strand you can just become Spider-Man, minus the wall crawling and spider sense, and with stasis you could essentially just freeze your opponents in place for a few seconds at a time. And during the day you get things like fire manipulation, lightning manipulation, and with void you can use a violent pulling effect on multiple enemies. Think of how Lapse Blue works for Gojo. But now we come to the domain expansion. For those who don't know, a domain expansion is considered the pinnacle of Jujutsu sorcery in the world of JJK. Not many sorcerers have it or can use it multiple times per day, as it consumes a ton of cursed energy. Essentially what this is a barrier that you make that traps your opponent within it, and once they're inside your domain, you gain a sure hit effect. It's pretty much impossible to break out of these domains on your own, and the only way to counter a domain is to have a more refined one yourself, and in that instance, your more refined domain will dominate the space. Domains are also typically based off of the curse technique of the user, so we'll be sticking to those guidelines here with the Guardian. I feel like the domain expansion of the Guardian should be called Flower Game, as this is a reference to a primordial interaction between the light and dark within the universe of Destiny. While an opponent is trapped in the domain, they get held down by tendrils made of strand. They also become severed from reality, allowing any attack within this domain to cause less damage to you if it hits. You're also going to be able to use your light and dark based abilities within your domain, no matter what time of day it is. And if we're bringing paracausality back into the mix, which I said we would do, you using your void abilities will allow you to literally teleport within the bounds of your domain at any point in time. And just like for anybody who's not Gojo or Sukuna, your cursed energy will be mostly depleted. Like I said before, I mean, this curse technique, even without the domain expansion, I feel like is a pretty strong one, but I don't think it would be enough to beat Gojo, unless, I don't know, they got into like a domain clash or something like that. But you could easily become a grade 1 sorcerer with a technique like this. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you did enjoy, and if you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.